5 of 10 liveries redesigned. We're over halfway there. Today we're looking at number 6, number 7, the Williams and the Ferrari. Let's start with the Williams, not just because it's driven by Alex Albon, but because they launched it before the Ferrari, so obviously, but maybe a little bit of that. So here we have the Williams FW-44. Now, my initial perspective on this car wasn't great, for sure. An improvement from last season. You might remember I called last season's livery one of the worst F1 liveries of all time. To be fair, the VR model looked shocking, but the actual livery on the car in real life looked better. Still bad, but just a little bit better. But you got to look at this and think that Williams have kind of changed up their design philosophy again. So this car looks very different to 2021, which looked very different to 2020, which looked very different to 2019, which looked very different to 2018. It's like Williams don't seem to be able to nail down and decide on a proper design philosophy for the livery of their cars beyond them having blue in them. This is part of the problem I have. Yes, people get bored of the same liveries every single year, but it doesn't mean they don't look good. It doesn't mean they're not iconic, and these Williams liveries are just so forgettable. Maybe because it's been a forgettable period in their history, maybe they don't want it to be remembered, maybe. But 2022 onwards, I hope they find this design philosophy and just stick with it. So yeah, we've got at least 3 shades of blue going on, plus the white from the logos, plus that little bit of red as well, which I'm not convinced. Jos Capito said in the reveal that it's because it's a British team having red in, which, okay. I know a lot of people have said they'd have preferred yellow in there. For me, I don't think either are necessary. I actually think the dark navy blue to like electric bright blue, I think that's a good colour spectrum that can create a really unique car, which is exactly what I've gone for my redesign. But watch this space. So yeah, the colour palette isn't blowing me away, but also something I noticed is that in the renders the car looks blue, lots of different types of blue, but still blue. Yet the real life car, this to me looks purple. It's in between blue and purple. It's that in between. It's like right there. But yeah, obviously the renders they released are on the F1 kind of spec car that they put out, but we have seen the car on track, but we've only seen front angles of the car on track, which is kind of annoying. I can't really evaluate the livery from the side profile because we haven't seen it in real life, so we're gonna have to stick with the renders. And again, for me, I don't love it, I don't hate it. They've gone for this kind of diamonds print on the back, which I quite like actually. I think that, in fact, I'd say the back of the car entirely, if you just drew a line through the middle of the car and the back of the car, I think looks pretty good. But the front of the car, I'm less convinced. Like, I don't like where you've got the angle on the nose. You've got that electric blue and the red, a really straight angle. And then you've got a curved bottom under the Safina. The blue and red on the front wing tips is a bit, it's okay, it's not great. The bits of red that are dotted around, for me, they're just, I mean, they're a bit random. They don't really serve to add anything to the livery, in my opinion. The electric blue does a great job, I think. I think that's enough as it is. But also something I think we can tell from this livery, because look, Williams aren't short of sponsors. They don't have the number of Ferrari. You will see that later on in the video, but they've still got a fair few. Yet this car is quite barren. Yes, they've got plenty of logos on the nose, but they've got none on the front wing at all. From the side profile, yeah, they've got some on the front rear wing, but then DeRilton Ventures, I mean, that's the company who owns the team, so that's not really a sponsor. Lavazza has always been up there. That's the Latifi connection. Duracell is obviously the new big sponsor coming in, so they've got pride of place there. And then you've just got the Williams logo, which again isn't a sponsor. When from a bang side on profile, you've only got 4 legible logos. That tells me that this is Williams basically being like, look at all this space on the side pod. Look at all this space here. You could have your logo here. What about on the front wing? Look at all that space. You could have your logo here. That's for me what I'm getting from this. Because they do have other sponsors that they could put on there, but they haven't. For me, this is as 5 out of 10 as it comes. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I'm interested to see more angles of the car in real life. I would maybe judge it differently if we had more shots of the real life car, but we don't. I can only go on from what we've seen. So I might not be massively sold on this year's Williams. Now it's time for me to put my money where my mouth is. Here's my version of the 2022 Williams. Here we go. As you can see, I've dropped the red. It is just shades of blue. We've got 4 shades of blue going on here. You can see that quite clearly down here on the front wing. We've got the darkest, we've got then the electric, kind of a little bit lighter, a little bit lighter than that, and then back to the darkest again. For me, as a colour palette, again, Aston Martin have got the green and lime, McLaren have got the orange and light blue. Alpine, we're anticipating will have the blue and pink. And again, for this, I think dark blue, shades of to electric blue. I think that should be what Williams owns from here on. Just stick with this colour palette and just refine it over the years and make this iconic. Let's take a look at the side profile. With this one, again, I've tried to be like, right, if I was given the same brief, so diamonds on the side, hits of blue, but I would put my foot down at the red because, again, why is red British? The diamonds, I've angled them a bit more. I've just kind of redone them. So this blue kind of molds into here. I've angled them more because, yes, you get more vertical lines here, but you also get more horizontal lines there, which kind of give it a bit of aggression, which I like. I've kept the side pod clear, just like the real thing, because again, put your logo here. Promote this advertisement board to get sponsors on board, but I have moved the Realton from there up to here because I just think that fits a bit better, and it gives a bit more empty space here to again entice the new sponsorinos. Right, we've got Duracell here, Versa. Again, most of the logo placement is pretty similar. Come around to the back. I don't usually show you the back because I can't really put logos on the rear kind of plate here for some reason on this model. Light blue surround on that I thought worked pretty nicely, so I did that. We've got Versa Bremont there. On the rear wing, you've got the bright blue on the gurney flap, and then you can see the kind of dark to lighter shades going on here. All 4 shades are accounted for on the rear wing. Come down to the front wing. Front wing again is clean and clear, and yeah, we focus on the front wing. We've got these same logos here, but then again, I've just rearranged these kind of angled bits. You can see like from most angles, like there's, you know, this bit of electric blue up here as well. It's all quite sharp edges generally throughout the car. There's not too much curvature, so I've tried to kind of preserve that as much as I can. Obviously, I can't really do much about this curvature here, but deal with it. This kind of gradually, almost gradient arrow down towards the Williams, I think that works quite well. I'll be honest, I'm not overly convinced by this design because, again, I was kind of using what they've already done as my basis. If I'd have done this completely myself from scratch, it'd look very different to this. But do I think it's an improvement? Look, it's hard for me to say because we haven't actually seen the real car on track. We've only seen the show car dressed in the livery so far, properly anyway, from all angles. Ultimately, what I think doesn't matter. Before we get onto the Ferrari, let me know what you think of this Williams. Rate it out of 10. Did I make it better or did I make it worse? And now onto the Scuderia Ferrari. We expected black on this car. Alongside the red, we saw the merchandise drop. There was a lot of black on it. That got a lot of people excited because you think into the early 90s, some of the best looking, the 91 Ferrari for me, one of the best looking F1 cars of all time. So when Ferrari revealed this car, did they disappoint? Absolutely not. Look, fundamentally, let's just get this out there in the open, okay? It's a red car with a black front wing and a black rear wing. Livery wise, that's pretty much it. You got this little gradient 75 thing at the top, but that's it. A bit of black on the halo as well. In terms of complexity of design, different colors, shapes, sizes, whatever, there's none of that here, but that's not what makes a great livery. I think 21 and 20 were L's for Ferrari in terms of the livery department. 2019, I really liked because there was a lot of black on that car. Black and red does work well. So because the liveries, I think, have been pretty disappointing in the last couple of seasons, that makes this even better. I think because of the prestige, the history of this colour palette on a Ferrari, that also adds to it as well. And then you've got the body, the shape of the car itself. Again, from the Williams, we couldn't take much away because the renders were on the base car. But this Ferrari, there's some madness going on. The front wing, super flat, not very aggressive there. These insane slip and slide side pods, absolute work of art. Whether they'll work or not, who knows, but they look good. Side inlets look really nice. Just the proportions of this car really help the livery shine. Of the actual cars we've seen so far, taking away the livery, this Ferrari, for me, is the best looking. Combine that with an iconic livery and it's match made in heaven. And of course, Ferrari are not short of sponsors. There's plenty here. I don't love everything about it. Again, the 75 with the gradient, I don't really like that. I think the black could have come up a bit further on the nose, but again, that's the point of these redesigns. I can take something and I can change it for myself. As for a rating, it's a 9.5 out of 10. I absolutely love this car. with this livery. Is it actually perfect? No, and I'm going to try and address that in my redesign, but it's damn bloody close, I'll tell you. Quite the act to follow, right? Well, here's my rendition, my version of the 2022 Ferrari. First things first, there is white on the car. The red and the black is incredibly iconic. We've already gone through that. But you know what else is iconic? A bit of white on the Ferrari. And when Santander announced they'd be returning to Ferrari, we know they were iconic in the Schumacher era, the white wings on the car. I was like, okay, yeah, I've got to bring some white into this. Mix it up a little bit. Do I love the all black wings on the real car? Yes. Do I think this looks great as well? Also, yes. I've tried to kind of preserve a colour hierarchy here. Again, red is obviously the main colour, then there's the black, then there's little bits of white knocking about. I think I like the balance of this a lot more than, for example, the Williams that I just did. Comparing my redesign of the Williams to this, I'm not going to lie, I think my Williams looks terrible compared to this. But you can't win them all. So yeah, let's look at a side profile. Again, apologies for the reverse logo here. There's nothing I can do about it. But Snapdragon there, new sponsor, Ray-Ban, Seva, Shell, blah, blah, blah. I've kept the fundamentals the same. This black bit coming up here is the same. The black sides on the wings is the same. What I have done though, is I've changed up the halo. So it has a bit more black, but then there's no gradient black up here. And I've brought the 75 anniversary logo down here. Bit of Italian flag going on. I thought looked quite smart there. I'm happy with this. And then I've also brought the black up along the nose to the side. Again, that to me shouts even more strongly the link between this and the early 90s Ferraris. Black and the red, super simple, super beautiful. And yeah, on the nose, I've obviously tried to imitate the fact that the nose does kind of taper down and get super narrow towards the edge, which I think is a really nice feature of this car. Moved a few logos around, so Kaspersky's from the front wing up to the side there. They're usually there, but they've moved down there for this season for some reason. Richard Mills come up to the top. AWS has moved from around here to up here. But the main logos are all pretty much in the same place, and the composition I still think works kind of really well. Of course, it's frustrating because the actual real car looks pretty much nothing like this model, to be honest. For regulations that we worried about being super restrictive, they have actually pushed the boat out. There's certainly no slip and slide down the side of these side pods. So I've done what I can with what I have. But as always, let me know out of 10, did I make it better or did I make it worse? Let's make a quick deal. If you rated either of these over an 8 out of 10, you have to like the video, okay? And subscribe. I don't make the rules, sorry. My name's Tommo. Thanks again. Have a good one. Ta-da.